what's up? How you doing? Dr. D.F. Arnold coming to you. I wanted to drop you a little message. It was about my week this past week. I had to go sit on a committee for the NCAA. This committee is amazing, but this was my last session that I was going to do. And so um, they gave me a gift, and the gift they gave me was quite thoughtful, and I appreciate it. But the story I want to tell you was this. So they made me give a speech, and so I came up and I gave a speech. And a lot of you know my story, some of you don't, but I'm going to just give you a little bit. What I told them, and it made me emotional because every time I talk about my mom, I get emotional. But I thought about the second school that I got kicked out of, because I got kicked out of two schools, two high schools, and I graduated from an alternative school. But I remember the day I got kicked out of that second school, and I remember my mother. We arrived home, and she went upstairs to her room, and she slammed the door. And I went close to the door, and I could hear my mother just crying. And as she was crying, I was thinking, wow, here I go again, messing up. And I knocked on the door, and my mom said, Damon, leave me alone, leave me alone. Damon, what are you going to do with your life? Just leave me alone. And I went away from the door, and I went into the living room, and I started to cry. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm always transparent. But I started to cry. And I thought about how my mother had moved me from Cleveland to California, not knowing anyone in California, but she just wanted a better life for me. And all I kept doing was just messing up. But I fast forward to the other day when I was at my last session on this particular NCAA committee. And I told them, I said, I told them that story, and I said, never once could I have imagined being in the room with the people that I was in the room with. This committee is the committee that does, basically, we did academic reform, so we basically came up with different guidelines and rules and expectations that we have for the student athletes that are currently in Division II and the student athletes that will be coming in Division II. And I ain't gonna lie to you, that bar is kind of high now. That bar is high, but it's not high enough to where my student athletes can achieve. It's not high enough to where the student athletes across the nation can achieve. But what it does is it puts them on a trajectory to graduate. That's what it's about. We always hear these stories about how student athletes aren't graduating, but I can say that the student athletes at Grand Valley and the student athletes, for the most part, they are graduating. But I always say I got a job to do because I don't have 100% graduation where I work at. But I think about all of these different things that I was part of. So you mean to tell me my mother's on the floor crying, not knowing what I was going to do with my life. And now I'm this Dr. Damon Arnold guy who's sitting on committees with the NCAA. The reason why I came to you and had to tell you this story, because it had been weighing on my heart to tell this. I never knew what my life would have been like. Yes, that was a mistake. Yes, that was a mishap. Yeah, that was all type of trouble that I used to get myself into. But all of that trouble prepared me to sit on that committee. See, you don't know what it is that you're going through right now. You don't know what it's going to produce later on in life. But all I can tell you is you gotta make sure that you're continuing to go through the process. See, it's the process that's preparing us for a promise. You got this. You got this. Never would have understood that that moment was preparing me for what I would do later on in life. Come on, y'all. Happy Sunday. You got this. Peace.